was 9 years old when I first read about Dr. Martin Luther King. I was too young to have heard about him in the classroom. South Africa in the late 1980s didn't have a curriculum on the civil rights movement in the US. If you know anything about South Africa's history, you'd understand why. So what I knew about Dr. King was largely self-taught. Prompted by a quote I read from his letter from a Birmingham jail. "We are all caught," he wrote, "in an inescapable network of mutuality." Martin Luther King wrote that letter in 1963. I read it in 1990. I remember it because that was the year former President Nelson Mandela was released from jail. So what does this have to do with you? When I first joined the program at SAIS, initially all I saw were the differences between us. Different accents, different cultures, very different backgrounds. But it didn't take long for me to recognize the network of mutuality between us, because as much as you're individuals, SAIS students do have a profile. Here's what I know you all have in common. 1, you're adaptable. This was evident in Bologna. Perhaps for the Europeans it was an easy transition, but I was amazed at how quickly we caught on to the rules. No coffee with milk after 10 a.m., gelato at least 3 times a week, if not every day, and no going home in the evenings without meeting for aperitivo, espresso at Giulio's, or late-night philosophizing at Humphrey's. In DC, you've been equally adept at playing chameleon. I've seen you flipped from class to an internship to any number of networking opportunities, transitioning from student to young professional with a quick change of shoes. Be it Mexico, Brazil, France, you've always been able to fit right in. 2, you're by no means ordinary. It occurred to me, walking past a blue gorilla at this year's Halloween party, that we're all a little peculiar. It's obvious we know how to have fun. We're amenable to just about anything that involves drinking and dressing up, or not wearing very much at all, as we saw at our recent Mr. and Miss Size contest. We've made full use of our happy hours, thanks in part to our size bands and DJs, have cooked and dressed in remembrance of our heritage, have celebrated any number of holidays, St. Patrick's Day included, and have gone glitz at both the Vienna and Cherry Blossom balls. But that isn't what makes you unusual. It's that you're so gutsy. You've lived and worked in multiple countries, have a number of degrees to your name, speak at least 2 languages, have been in Peace Corps, have led or been a part of any number of clubs. Best of all, you're earnest. I've seen you plan with precision the route for taking down your enemy on the paintball course, be it Ida vs. Strat or SAIS vs. Georgetown. I've seen you at the crisis simulation assume the role of president or minister, very convincingly negotiating an exchange of nukes with Russia, or convening a Pan-African summit to discuss the water crisis. Whatever you set your mind on, you do it with heart. Does this mean you'll get a job? Given all the tools you've been equipped with, I think the answer to that question is relatively obvious. You've received an outstanding education and have had multiple opportunities to polish your CV. Trips to the Middle East, China, Eastern Europe, South America, funding for internships abroad, exposure to a variety of academics, practitioners, and policymakers in the classroom and through SAIS's lecture series. You've been prodded by professors to think analytically, steered by career services to figure out what it is you do best and where to invest your time. SAIS has given you the platform. The real challenge is figuring out how to launch into your life. The measure of success will be different for each of you. For some, it will be the day you become president. For others, the day you start your own company, get the promotion you want, or the day you choose to start a family. Whatever the moment, and however you use your education, my hope is that you will draw on that network of mutuality around you and be guided by what in South Africa we would call Ubuntu, the recognition that you are who you are because of other people. It's unfortunate, but it's often only when we've known loss that we realize how deeply dependent we are on one another. Generosity is unquestionably another of your attributes. The response to the crisis in Haiti, the concern for your fellow classmates who have family in Japan, these all show your big-heartedness. But my perception of you changed when we lost our friend and classmate, Julia. All of you, even those who didn't know her, gave what you could, even if that only meant giving a hug to those of us who did know her, or contributing to her fellowship. That is community. You have a responsibility to widen that community, and regardless of whether or not you're recognized for it, to share your hard-earned wisdom. We really are living in incredible times. We have choices and opportunities, access to information our parents could never have dreamed of. But for all the massive knowledge we've accumulated, despite the spread of technology, life is not easier. At least not for those who do not have the skills and education we've been fortunate to receive. The world is still governed by inequality. It took one man, one sacrifice, and a network to set off a wave of revolution in the Middle East. How much more can you achieve? You may not start a revolution, but you have the capability and resources to make the world a little more sustainable, a little more diverse, a little more educated, and a lot more human. Thank you for the friendships and memories. I'll carry them in my heart. I wish you success and happiness.